Welcome to the ultimate guide to healthy eating for beginners, and it's 2025. We're no longer relying on fat diets or weird supplements. It's time to learn how to eat the right way and how to have a generally healthy lifestyle for a happy, healthy life. I already made a version of this video for 2024 that you can check out here or in the description. So I'm gonna be kind of summarizing the main information there and then adding upon that. So make sure you check the previous one out too. So before we get into the nutrition side of things, let's first look at how to be healthy on a general scale, because nutrition is only one piece of the puzzle. Part 1, the pillars of healthy living. Healthy living is built on several key pillars that include the way you move, the way you eat, even your relationships and connections. When it comes to movement, it's important to engage in regular physical activity. It doesn't have to be going to the gym every day, but at least moving your body in a way that you enjoy. And that is great for energy and to make sure that your body is healthy. Sleep, also very crucial. It really needs to be prioritized. I think in our current way of living, it's become cool almost to say that you're not getting enough sleep, that you're not prioritizing sleep, that you don't have time to sleep. But the truth is, sleep is absolutely crucial to health, and not getting enough is completely detrimental. So make sure that you prioritize getting around 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Stress management is also very crucial. You can't be going around with huge cortisol spikes all the time. That's not going to be sustainable. Practicing mindfulness, practicing meditation, making sure that you have moments to yourself where you can just recenter, focus on yourself, do things that recharge you, make you feel good. And then one thing we don't think about often enough, I feel like, are social connections. It's really important that you feel that you have good connections with different people in like your entire social circles, so that you can really fulfill that aspect. It's super important to build meaningful relationships with loved ones, and this can really help you feel supported and listened to and valued. And of course, there's healthy eating, nourishing your body with balanced meals that satisfy you, which we are going to dive deeper into. And as important as these things are for optimal health, sometimes they're just not enough and you need more, like addressing symptoms and managing health conditions or accessing the right medication. And this is where today's sponsor, MIDI Health, comes in. MIDI Health is a virtual care clinic offering safe, affordable, and accessible healthcare. They provide weight loss medications, women's health treatments, and other personalized prescriptions tailored to your needs, filling the gaps that healthy habits alone can't. What sets MIDI apart is their dedication to women's midlife health, especially post-menopause, because many women face significant challenges during this time, and 80% of OBGYNs aren't trained in menopause, and 75% of doctors feel uncomfortable discussing symptoms like hot flashes, fatigue, or hormonal imbalances. This leaves women feeling ignored and confused, and they are told just to diet more and exercise more, but sometimes that just isn't enough, and MIDI changes that. Created by women for women, their mission is to provide compassionate, expert care tailored to women navigating hormonal changes, empowering them with real solutions to take back control over their health. And they accept insurance in all 50 states with no surprise fees, no memberships. You'll connect virtually with a clinician, get a personalized care plan, and follow up easily through messages or calls. And MIDI coordinates with your doctors and can even refer you for in-person visits if necessary. Because sometimes being healthy must go beyond just lifestyle choices. Visit trymidi.com/Lucy to schedule a virtual visit and use my code SAY15 for $15 off your first prescription for your booked visit. So now it's time to address the most important pillar of all, healthy eating. And let's start with step 1, which are the basics of nutrition, since this is beginner friendly. Of course, a healthy diet starts with understanding your body's needs. The basic things you need to understand is that there are 3 macronutrients: carbs, fats, and proteins. Carbs should be your body's main source of energy, and they are mainly found in fruit, in starchy veggies, in grains, and in legumes. Those are the whole carbs, and then refined carbs are found in anything with like white refined flour, sugar, things like that. Proteins are essential for your muscle repair and growth, and they are found in a lot of animal products, and when it comes to plant-based protein, they are found in things like tofu and legumes. Fats are super important to support your brain health and for the absorption of certain vitamins and for correct hormone function. And you can find them in things like olive or olive oil and avocados and nuts and seeds and fish. Micronutrients include vitamins and minerals like iron, calcium, vitamin D to support immune function, bone health, energy. And if you're eating all the right macros that we talked about, all the right foods that we're going to keep on talking about, and aim for variety, you'll be all set. I'm not a big fan of counting macros or calories, but just as a general guideline, you should be getting about 50% of your calories from carbs, 25% of your calories from protein, and 25% of your calories from fats. So if we take a diet of 2,000 calories, that would mean 1,000 calories from carbs, or 250 grams, 500 calories from protein, or 125 grams, and 500 calories from fats, or 55 grams. Hydration, also very important. Make sure that you are drinking enough water, at least 6 to 8 pretty tall glasses a day. Every time you can, just carry around a reusable water bottle and just have it filled up all the time. Now, what about calories? Calories are just energy units in foods, and they are essential for body function. While the balance of calories consumed versus calories burned obviously plays a role in your weight, it is not the only determined factor, and it's more complicated than just calories in versus calories out. Again, I don't recommend calorie counting necessarily, but just if you're a complete beginner, so you just get an idea. Usually for women, it's recommended to eat around 2,000 calories a day, and for men, around 2,500 calories a day. Obviously, this varies with a bunch of factors like your age and your level of physical activity and your body composition. If you're interested, you can calculate your needs that you need in terms of calories with online calculators. There are a bunch, but again, I see this more as a number that you can have in mind, but not something that you should absolutely be trying to hit with every single meal. It's more about looking at calories in different foods and different serving sizes and kind of comparing that to what you're already eating and then trying to adapt that a little bit. Again, you want this to be very little by little, very progressively, or else it won't last. This is useful if you feel like you have no idea what portions should look like, or maybe you'll realize that you are eating inadequate portions, too little, too much, and that you didn't know. And if you're interested, I have a whole video on portion sizes that you can check out here or in the description. Now, some actionable steps that you can do today is to look at your meals and look at the different macros that you are eating, making sure that you are eating all of them, and kind of familiarize yourself with the nutrition labels. Look at the serving sizes, look at the calories. Is this what you were thinking? Is this different? This advice applies to beginners who have no idea what calories are, how many calories they're eating. Of course, if calorie counting triggers you, do not do this. Now, step number 2, you need to start building balanced meals. Balanced meals are the key to feeling energized, focused, healthy, and it's way more important to make your meals balanced than it is to count calories or macros. What you can do to help you with this is to use the plate method. So basically, you take a plate and about 1/3 of it you put veggies, and then 1/3 of it you put carbs, and then the remaining third you put protein. And make sure that you add healthy fats to that if they're not already present. And I have a video on how to create a healthy plate that you can check out here or in the description. Also want to make sure that you are including gut-friendly foods, so probiotics and prebiotics, because a healthy gut can also really impact your general health, well-being, and even your weight. So for probiotics, which are the actual organisms in your gut, you want to make sure that you are eating fermented foods like yogurt or kefir, sauerkraut. And then prebiotics is the food that is feeding these beneficial bacteria. And for this, you basically want to be increasing your fiber content. So if you want to learn more about gut health and probiotics, prebiotics, fiber, etc., I have a few videos on that at this point, and I'll put one of them here and in the description. When it comes to how much balanced meals you should be having, you should be eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so 3 meals a day. That's ideal. It's much easier to balance out the different foods and the different food groups and make sure that you're getting enough food and enough variety if you're eating multiple meals. If you're only eating like 1 meal or even 2 meals a day, it can be a little bit harder to get in all the nutrients you need. If you're hungry and if you want to, if you have time, if you feel like it, you can also snack. Snacking doesn't mean that you are grazing throughout the entire day on chips and chocolate. Of course not. You want to snack smart, so you want to snack in a way that is going to satisfy your hunger, keep you full and satisfied, and also satisfy the cravings that you're having. Make sure that you're pairing carbs and protein and fats and fiber, all of that, for a snack that actually satisfies you and lasts. You can have things like fruit and nut butter or some whole grain sourdough bread and like carrots, hummus. Generally, you shouldn't go more than 4 hours without eating if you feel hungry, and snacking can be a great way to make your dinner portions a little bit more adequate, because sometimes if you haven't eaten from noon to like 6, you're gonna be starving and you are going to eat over your hunger cues, like past your hunger cues. Some actionable steps: you want to try the plate method for your next meal or a meal that you're gonna be eating and see how you do. Try to incorporate more probiotics and prebiotics into your diet. Start with adding 1 probiotic, let's say, for your dinner tonight. And then make sure that you have some balanced snack options on hand at home all the time when you need them. Step 3, meal planning and meal prepping. So the difference between learning this information and just letting it rot in your brain or actually doing something about it usually comes down to meal planning and meal prepping, because you can have all the good ideas in the world if you're not actually getting the ingredients to do it and getting the meals down and actually doing it, then nothing's gonna happen. So I know that meal prepping can be difficult and requires a lot of work up front and a lot of time. So you don't have to do that, though you can if you want to, but just prepping ahead a little bit can already be a big determining factor in your success. You can do things like batch cooking grains or batch cooking veggies. Like you can pre-cut, pre-peel veggies, have them in little containers so that they're all ready throughout the week. You can use food staples that are simple, things that are canned or frozen, jarred, pre-made. They can really make your life easier, and there's a huge difference between having an entire meal that is already pre-made and pre-packaged and just using some elements of the meal that were pre-made, but essentially you're still making a home-cooked meal. You also want to make sure that you are keeping healthy options easily accessible. So for instance, make sure that you keep a bag of pre-washed greens in your fridge, or that you have some like microwavable grains to just throw in the microwave. You also want to keep sustainability in mind, which can help with actually being able to afford what you eat. You can use seasonal, local produce to reduce environmental impact and costs. You can reduce food waste a lot by planning meals that reuse similar types of ingredients. And then make sure to use affordable staples. Healthy eating doesn't require that you go and buy all these super expensive fruit and veggies and complicated herbs and spices and things like that. No, you don't have to do that. Now, some actionable steps. You want to spend 10 to 15 minutes today or any day of the week where you have a little bit of time to plan out meals that you want to make. Doesn't have to be all of them. Just write down a few ideas that you have, write down the ingredients that you need in order to make them, and then go grocery shopping for them. The more you do this, the more of a habit it will become, and the quicker you'll be able to do it. Number 2, you can batch cook a grain today and use that same grain as a base for a meal for the upcoming 2 to 3 meals. Now it's time for step 4, which is all about finding balance and moderation. These are always the words that I use on repeat because they are so important to healthy eating, because all foods can fit into a healthy diet and all foods should fit into a healthy diet. But what you need to be worried about is the balance of things. Of course, if your diet is 99% pizza and 10% veggies, it's not going to be healthy. But if your diet is 90% broccoli and 10% the rest, not healthy either. You need to understand that there are no good or bad foods. You really need to avoid labeling foods because all foods will bring you something. Of course, there are foods that are more nutrient dense and they're going to bring your body a lot of nutrients, but there are also foods that are going to be more calorie dense, but they're also going to satisfy specific cravings and bring you comfort and joy and satisfaction. All you need to be focusing on is the fact that 70-80% of your food should be more nutrient dense whole foods. These nutrient dense foods include a lot of whole grains, like all the whole grains, all the fruit and veggies, all the legumes, so beans, lentils, things like that, and nuts and seeds. Of course, they should all be the bulk of your diet. If you're eating animal protein, make sure that you're focusing on things like fish or chicken or yogurt, eggs, more than red meat. And it's also really important that you save some room for foods that you love, foods that are treats to you, indulgences, whatever you want to call them, foods that are not necessarily going to give you nutrients, but that are going to fuel your soul. These foods should be planned out into your diet, and you should be totally okay with eating them without guilt and without feeling that you are doing something wrong and that you're cheating on your diet, because again, they are absolutely essential for a balanced diet. There's a difference between knowing that certain foods should stay occasional, foods like very processed, refined sugars or trans fats or processed meats, and completely banning these foods and feeling guilty every time you eat them. You need to find the balance there. So some actionable steps here: look at the meals that you're currently eating and try to see if you are following about approximately 80-20 rule with them. Also, you should plan out your favorite treats to eat for the week and eat them guilt-free. And also check out my video on how to eat in moderation right here or in the description. And now step 5, and without step 5, all the rest are kind of meaningless. You need to build a healthy relationship with food. A positive relationship with food is absolutely foundational to healthy eating. In order to cultivate that, you want to make sure that you are, first of all, ditching diet culture and diet rules, food rules. Like I talked about earlier, no labeling foods as good or bad, no telling yourself that you are a bad person if you have a treat, being able to eat foods without feeling guilty, not having any foods that you fear or that are triggering to you, and being able to eat all foods on the same level without giving power to one and not the other. You also really want to start practicing mindful eating. This means that you want to savor the meals that you are eating and be really focused on the present moment, making sure that you are taking the time to chew, taking the time to savor the different ingredients, and eating your meal without any distractions, that you're focused on what you're actually putting into your mouth. Learning to eat intuitively is also absolutely crucial. You need to learn to listen to your body telling you that it's hungry, your body telling you that it's full. Again, the more you practice mindful eating, the easier it's going to be to also eat intuitively, because you're going to be able to listen to what your body is telling you and listen to your hunger fullness cues, and also honor your cravings, which is very important. Addressing emotional eating is also a big one. That can be a huge pillar to a healthy relationship with food. You really need to work on identifying triggers, identifying things that are going to get you to be in emotions that then make you eat. And then once you have found these things, you need to find other ways to address these emotions which aren't food. Food can be a way to cope. That's okay, that's human, that's normal, but it shouldn't be the default way. It shouldn't be the main way. You need to find other tools in your toolbox for when you have emotional episodes. And it's also important that you find joy in food. Food should not be something that stresses you out. Food should be something that you love. Food should be something that nourishes your body and that makes you feel good, and also something that creates social connection, or something that enables you to connect to other cultures or to celebrate and experience different types of moments and satisfaction and pleasure. Food encompasses all that. What it should not do is bring you feelings of guilt or shame or being uncomfortable or any of that. Some actionable steps that you want to take is, I want your next meal to be one where you eat mindfully, where you really take the time to enjoy your food and focus on it and appreciate it, and where you're also tuning in to what your body is telling you. Are you eating this meal when you're actually hungry, or is it just that it's time to eat? Are you stopping when you're actually full, or is it just that you keep on eating until your plate is empty? Another step you can do today is to start reflecting on certain emotional triggers that will then lead you to eat emotionally, and find other things that you like doing that can cope with these emotions. Another step you can take today is write down all the activities that you like doing that are going to help you cope with emotions that generally make you eat. And of course, I want you to watch the video I just did on the ultimate guide to building a healthy relationship with food. You can check it out here or in the description. So healthy eating in 2025 is about balance, about enjoyment and satisfaction, and about listening to your body above anything else. You want to make sure that you're also focusing on different aspects, because if you're just focusing on nutrition, then you're not going to be healthy in general. There also needs to be sleep and exercise and social connection. You also really want to value progress over perfection and make sure that you are celebrating all your small wins and that you are patient and not too hard on yourself. And if you feel like you need that little extra push, don't hesitate to check out Medi Health and use my code right here. And again, thank you to Medi Health for sponsoring this video. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye.